cheating. Maski sana kung pumunta ngayong shopping mall, kahapon lamang nasa Robinson's Galleria, pumupunta ako sa SM City sa EDSA, napunta ako sa Ayala Center, napunta ako sa Cash and Carry, sa Landmark dito sa Makati, maski saan, regardless of the clientele to which the mega malls might be catering, either upper middle class, or lower middle class. People come to me. They ask for the usual, autographs and photo sessions, but in addition they say, naku ma'am, nadaya tayo ng halalan na. Sana labanan mo.
Pero Miriam, alam mo, I mean, I've been a journalist for 40 years and I've covered virtually all the elections in this country. And I have not seen or covered any elections which were devoid of cheating.
That's correct.
Endemic yata ang cheating sa kultura natin, no?
Yes.
Isn't it possible that the cheating you're mentioning was cheating on a local level, and that it's very difficult to prove that cheating on a local level can be telescoped into saying that cheating was on a level that was arranged at the top with people conspiring with each other to include Cory Aquino, the COMELEC, and the watchers of the Philippine Parish Council for Responsible Voting. That would have meant a conspiracy to deprive you of victory. Do you agree there was such a conspiracy?
A conspiracy is one thing, but cheating on a nationwide level sufficient to affect the outcome of the presidential elections is another thing. And that my legal staff before the Congress have amply proved. They have presented substantial evidence that a reasonable mind would accept as adequate to support a conclusion, such as this document. This does not concern local candidates. This concerns presidential candidates.
I agree. Pero ang mangyayari dito, no, it seems to be, well, maybe not evident, but the momentum seems to be pointing in that direction, that despite your very passionate protest, Congress will presumably proclaim Fidel Ramos as the winner of the mail. Then what are you going to do after that?
As I said in the Saturday press conference, first, the game plan is we must exhaust all constitutional remedies, even only for the fact that I teach constitutional law at the University of the Philippines Law School. And the first step in this constitutional agenda is to appeal to Congress. Just do what the law says. The law says you must conduct presidential tabulations if there is doubt as to their veracity and the results would be sufficient to affect the outcome of the elections. Then you must conduct the tabulation not in an arithmetically progressive manner simply by adding one certificate of canvass after another, but you must go beyond them so that you can determine the authenticity and due execution of the canvass certificate.
Miriam, I don't know if you were correctly quoted. Reports in the media claim that you were paid or very well, there was an offer to pay you the amount of 300 million to shut you up, and at the same time a cabinet post to go with it. Is that correct?
Not to me personally, but to my agent at a meeting arranged at the request of the other party.
Were you able to confirm the authenticity of that report?
I go by the report of my agent.
I see. And you believe it's serious?
I consider it an insult, and I have never bothered to inquire about the degree of seriousness with which the offer is made. I just consider it totally aggravating.
Could it have been a prank? I mean, you know, it's a fair game. You're fair game for anybody now. Could it have been a prank and not a serious offer?
No. This is a very serious person that I sent because I thought that we were going to talk about the mechanics of the tabulation in the Congress, what the attitude of each presidential candidate was at that point. I thought that the inquiry would be of that nature, and so I sent a person in whom I have total trust and confidence, and who, I must add, parenthetically, enjoys very high standing in the Makati business community.
We're going to have to go into a break again. Stay with us.
Firing line will continue. Return you to Firing Line.
Just to follow up on my previous question about this offer of 300 million pesos to you, would you be able to identify the person who told you about
Oh
it?
yes,
You
definitely.
can. Huh?
Oh, here on the show.
Yeah.
I doubt very much if he
I
would
see.
welcome it.
And secondly, that you were offered a cabinet position. Would you kindly give us the honor of knowing exactly what cabinet position was offered?
I don't
to you?
even know myself. It was apparently placed at my discretion.
At your discretion.
Yes.
And if you had accepted, what would you have preferred?
That is an eventuality that I will not even consider intellectually.
You've closed that book. You've
Yes,
closed
of
that
course.
particular
Yes.
book. Okay, you were saying earlier that you've been going to the shopping malls, and I understand that you've been going incognito sometimes with your children to go to movies.
Not incognito. I don't wear a mustache or.
But I mean, looking as
I'm not dressed up
yes, as ordinary as you would like to be. Why do you do that?
because I wanted to test the reaction of the public. I wanted to know whether the public perceives me as a winner or as a loser.
And what's the perception?
Far be it for me to say, but since apparently many people think that humility is not one of my outstanding virtues, I may as well go ahead.
Go all out. Yeah.
I wanted to see whether the general public, both the sales girls and the customers, would treat me as some form of communicable disease. In other words, I wanted to see if I was a big yawn, if people would say, oh, there goes another defeated politician. We don't want to have anything to do with her. We just want to get on with the rest of our lives. But that has not been the reaction. I've never been able to carry out any of my simple errands during these enterprises, during these epic journeys through the shopping malls, simply because too many people ask for autographs or ask for photo sessions, and in fact, quite a number have been frustrated because I could not stay long enough.
But, you know, I think it's a given that you are indeed a celebrity and, you know, of mega proportions. What about those who used to be rabid Miriam supporters and are now beginning to sour or beginning to question your motives? What about them?
I am not familiar with these people because I am able to access only to the supporters who want me to continue the crusade. But in any event, we shall soon know. In the very proximate future, by Wednesday specifically,
What's
I
happening?
shall start my speaking tour of the university campuses, beginning with Metro Manila and then spreading throughout the country, and we shall see how the students, particularly those who were first time or otherwise, in any event who were voters on last May 11, will react to me. If I'm a big yawn, I'll go home. I promise you, I will never inflict myself again on the Filipino people.
That's your constituency, the youth,
Right.
no? But I have another question. Imelda Marcos, the former First Lady, has just conceded and admitted, you see, that she lost, and states very categorically that in her mind, Fidel Ramos has won the May 11 elections. Would that have any effect on your fight and your crusade?
Absolutely not.
Nothing.
I entertain no interest of any substantial nature in the workings of the mind of Imelda Marcos. Who can fathom the mind of this woman?
supposing Miriam. Okay, let's not talk about Imelda. But supposing, I don't know if he is just about as adamant as you are, as determined, and as what you might call digging in his own factual as you are. But supposing that Dinko Juanco should concede that he was defeated and that Fidel Ramos was the winner, would that have any effect on your crusade?
No.
None whatsoever.
Even if I were the last person among 62 million Filipinos, I will still assert and attempt to prove with every legal measure and capability within my command as a lawyer that there was election fraud. For it is the duty of every Filipino and every Christian to denounce election fraud as a variation, as a mutant of the age-old problem of graft and corruption.
So you believe that the best cause worth fighting for is a lost cause?
Exactly. Not necessarily a lost
No, because
cause.
they might proclaim a president, no?
Yes,
Yeah,
in fact,
yeah,
I think that might be a reasonable conclusion to make at this stage.
Miriam, why are you different